All right. So, talking about jobs and stuff, one thing I see come up a lot is how people kind of make a connection to something that's not accurate. And I see this a lot in local groups. I see it on Reddit and stuff where people talk about how you should go apply here. They need people. They're always so busy. They need people. And I want you to understand that companies that appear to need people because they're understaffed or busy, it's not that they can't get people, and it's not that they're just having a hard time finding people. It's understaffed on purpose. I've worked for multiple IT companies, and something I've always found really ridiculous is how they stay understaffed on purpose. One of the companies I worked for, we needed two people. The numbers justified it. The amount of workflow we had justified it. And for years, management gaslit us by telling us, we're looking for someone. We just got to find the right person. We're going to try to find you guys someone. And I realized after a while they were doing that to keep morale to a degree, right? Like they wanted us to believe that they were just having a hard time finding someone, and that they felt for us, oh God, you guys are so busy. You do such a wonderful job. You do so great. Maybe you've heard that before. Maybe you've been in that position where management's like, we really appreciate you. You're doing such a great job. And, you are the backbone of this company. And I don't know how we do it without you. And we're really trying to find somebody to help you because you guys really make this place work. And come to find out, they wanted it understaffed. They wanted it to be understaffed. They could have paid to have two more people, but they didn't want to. They could have, but it made the margins look worse, right? The profitability would have looked worse. So instead, they find the balance where they constrain, specifically in support roles too, by the way. And this happens in other areas too, but they find the ratio, if you will, where they constrain support so you're constantly busy more than you should be all day, causing undue stress, causing overages in time. If you're in support, you understand that means that it takes you longer to get tickets done because instead of having a path of escalation or instead of having another technician to assist, those kind of things, what ends up happening is you end up taking an hour on a call when maybe, another technician could have hopped on and done something a little bit different, or you could have escalated, right? Because there's supposed to be a path to escalation. But anyway, they keep it understaffed. And so there's just not enough people to get the work done. And the only time they look at hiring more is when they get enough customer complaints. They realize, the customers are starting to notice we don't have enough people. That's it. So even if they're only paying their technicians $30,000 to $50,000 a year, I know that sounds absurd to some, in that range to do the work for that, they'll still keep it low because that's $30,000 to $50,000 for a position they're not having to account for. It's money. It's money they're keeping. And I've been with companies where they make that distinction that when a client says, I'll quit, they don't care. So if you are a business and you're with a managed service provider, know that they're going to look at how much money they're getting out of you, and they're going to determine whether or not they care or not you're leaving. And in a lot of cases, if you're not paying their top tier for support or a certain amount of contract, they'll cut you loose. They don't care because you're already using too much of the resource that you should, but they only expect you to use so much. And that's the really horrible thing about MSPs. They make it sound like an all-you-can-use buffet of service. The reality is they would prefer you only utilize, a certain percentage of that contract. So anyway, just know that just because a place looks busy, and I see this all the time with people like, go work for King Soopers. They're always busy. They need people. No, they're busy, but they don't need people. And speaking on that, I know it's a little off topic, but looking at King Soopers, if you look at their site for hires, some of their job postings are from 2025. They haven't updated what they have yet. And it's not a point of they're still looking. No, they're rotational positions, sure, meaning they'll always take applications for filing. But when I contacted them about jobs, it was, we're not hiring right now. And no, we haven't updated those yet. So the job descriptions are behind. The job postings are behind. Just know that. So that's another company you can add to your list of not actually hiring.